It is said that only cannibals eat human flesh to survive. But what if human meat became so popular that ordinary people started craving it like a luxury delicacy? That is exactly what happens in this disturbing French story. In the middle of the city, thousands of people gather outside a small butcher shop. The owner of the shop, Vincent, sells a special kind of meat so delicious that customers are willing to pay any price for it. Days pass, but neither the crowds nor the obsession dies down. The taste of this meat is unforgettable. Anyone who tries it becomes addicted instantly. One day, a customer asks Vincent what kind of meat he is selling. Vincent lies and says it is meat from a rare Iranian pig. The rumor spreads through the streets like wildfire. Suddenly, everyone becomes even more curious. Traffic jams start forming outside the butcher shop because of the massive crowd. The same butchers who were struggling to survive are now making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Meanwhile, giant meat factories begin losing customers and slowly move toward bankruptcy because of the shop's overnight success. But things were not always like this. Just a few weeks earlier, Vincent's butcher shop was completely empty. From the outside, Vincent and Sophie looked like a happy couple living a normal life. But the truth was far different. Hardly anyone visited their store. Vincent had a strange habit. Before selling meat, he would massage it carefully because he believed it improved the flavor. However, customers thought it was ridiculous nonsense. Whenever Vincent massaged the meat, people simply stood there staring at him like he was crazy. Most customers only came to his shop because there were no lines and it saved them time. One day, a group of activists attacks their butcher shop. They throw animal blood on Sophie and brutally beat Vincent. During the attack, Vincent manages to remove one attacker's mask and sees his face. But surrounded by so many people, there's nothing he can do. These attackers are vegans who hate anyone selling or eating meat. They constantly vandalize Vincent's shop, pushing the couple deeper into debt. That same evening, Vincent and Sophie visit their wealthy friends Mark and Stephanie. Mark also works in the meat business, but unlike Vincent, his business is thriving. Sophie breaks down, crying in front of Stephanie, and admits that things between her and Vincent have been falling apart for years. Their butcher shop is failing, and the vegan activists scare away every customer they get. Stephanie coldly tells Sophie that she deserves someone better than Vincent. She brags about the expensive gold necklace her husband gifted her and talks about their luxurious vacations. Then she asks Sophie what Vincent has given her lately. According to her, even a cheap flower would count as a meaningful gift. But instead of comfort, Sophie only hears insults hidden behind fake sympathy. During dinner, Mark proudly announces that he recently opened his fourth butcher shop and is earning over $100,000 every month. Hearing this makes Vincent and Sophie even more jealous of their successful friends. When Mark hears about the vegan activists attacking Vincent's shop, he gives him a rifle for protection. He tells Vincent to keep it until he installs security cameras and fences around the store. Mark says the activists will think twice before attacking again if they see a weapon. Vincent nervously replies, "I do not even have a permit to use this thing." But Mark laughs and says, "You do not actually need to shoot anyone. Just scare them. They do not know you cannot use it." On the drive back home, Sophie cannot stop thinking about how visiting Mark and Stephanie only made them feel worse about their own miserable lives. Their financial problems are destroying their marriage. Things have gotten so bad that Sophie has already started thinking about divorce. Vincent tries calming her down and asks her to think carefully before making such a huge decision. At that exact moment, Vincent notices a man walking nearby. He immediately recognizes him as one of the vegan activists who attacked his butcher shop. Furious and desperate for revenge, Vincent decides to scare him by backing his car toward him. But the situation goes horribly wrong. The activist accidentally falls under the car and dies instantly. Vincent and Sophie step out of the car in complete shock. They stare at the dead body, terrified and speechless. Vincent nervously mutters, "If this guy ate meat, he probably would not have died from such a small hit." He reaches for his phone to call the police, but Sophie stops him immediately. She reminds him that nobody will believe it was an accident. The rifle Mark gave them is still inside the car, and the police would assume they murdered the activist for attacking their shop. Sophie suddenly comes up with a horrifying solution. She suggests cutting the body into pieces and dumping the remains in different places so nobody could trace it back to them. She even mentions that she learned the idea from watching a serial killer documentary. Then she casually suggests mixing the body parts with pork meat and selling it in their butcher shop. Vincent is horrified by the idea and refuses immediately. Still panicking, they drag the body back to their butcher shop. Vincent begins cutting the corpse into smaller pieces so they can dispose of it properly. Every second disgusts him. While cutting the body, one of the ears accidentally falls onto the floor, and their dog instantly eats it. Shockingly, the dog loves the taste and starts begging for more. At first, Vincent ignores him, but eventually he throws the second ear toward the dog as well. The animal devours it happily. After hours of cutting and grinding the body, Vincent becomes exhausted and falls asleep inside the shop. The next morning, he wakes up late and notices something terrifying. The ground meat he prepared the previous night is gone. Panicking, he asks Sophie where it went. Confused, Sophie casually replies, "Oh, that meat? I already mixed it into the grinder with the regular pork." Vincent freezes in horror. "You should have asked me first," he shouts. "Please tell me you did not sell any of it." Before Sophie can answer, a customer walks into the shop asking for the same delicious meat she bought earlier that morning. Sophie accidentally sold human meat instead of pork, and the customer absolutely loved the flavor. Vincent desperately tries convincing her not to buy more, but the woman cannot stop talking about how incredible it tasted. Completely unaware that she had eaten human flesh, she begs for another order. Sophie pressures Vincent into selling it, and eventually he gives in. To hide the truth, Vincent lies again and tells the customer it is a rare Iranian pork recipe that only a few people in the world can prepare. After the customer leaves, Vincent finally tells Sophie the horrifying truth. They have just sold human meat to a customer. But instead of reacting with shock or guilt, Sophie remains strangely calm. In fact, she sees it as a perfect solution to their problem of getting rid of the body. Vincent feels like he's losing his mind and decides to throw the remaining meat away immediately. However, before he can do anything, another customer arrives asking for the same Iranian pork. Word has already started spreading about the incredible taste. Slowly, the dead body meat becomes famous under the name of Iranian pork, and their business begins to explode. They start making huge amounts of money almost overnight. One day, a police officer visits the shop. Vincent and Sophie panic, thinking he is there to investigate the missing vegan activist. But surprisingly, the officer is just another customer looking to buy the special meat. Vincent cannot understand what is happening. Why is everyone so obsessed with this meat? That night, Vincent secretly tastes it himself. He realizes it is the best meat he has ever eaten in his life. Sophie then makes a shocking suggestion. Since the activist they killed was a vegan, maybe that is why his meat tastes so good. She even proposes something horrifying. What if they start targeting vegans and use their meat for the shop? She believes they could make even more money. Vincent immediately refuses. He tells her they are crossing a line they can never come back from. But the damage is already done. Soon after, their daughter Chloe brings her boyfriend Lucas home to meet them. Vincent has been waiting for this moment for a long time and prepares a special meal. But when Lucas sits down, he refuses to eat anything. He reveals that he is a strict vegan and does not eat any animal products at all. Vincent tries offering him mushrooms instead, but Lucas refuses because they touched meat. Sophie brings cake, but Lucas rejects it again because it contains eggs. Chloe also refuses to eat in solidarity, and both of them leave the house. This rejection pushes Vincent over the edge. He becomes furious and starts agreeing with Sophie that vegans are destroying everything. That night, the couple goes to a vegan restaurant to find their next target. They scan the crowd, looking for someone weak enough to attack. They select a restaurant owner as their target and plan to kill him, grind the body, and turn it into meat. Vincent tries to go through with it, knife in hand, but at the last moment his body freezes from fear and he runs away. Sophie gets frustrated and tells him they need more practice. The next day, they start pretending to be vegans themselves to blend into activist groups. While searching for a victim, they meet many people, including some who insult meat eaters. Sophie stays quiet most of the time, but eventually snaps at one of them in anger, shocking even Vincent. Later, they finally meet a thin man who praises their love for animals. Sophie sees him as the perfect target and takes him aside to the parking area. But again, things go wrong when his friend arrives. Forced into a corner, Vincent and Sophie are dragged into a plan to attack a butcher shop owned by their friend Mark. When they arrive, Vincent sees an opportunity and uses the chaos to destroy Mark's shop out of jealousy. Sophie initially hesitates, but Vincent goes ahead and vandalizes everything, even humiliating Mark's business in a brutal way. Their partnership begins to break apart as tension between them grows stronger than ever. After destroying Mark's butcher shop, Vincent and Sophie's relationship starts collapsing under the weight of everything they have done. The stress, guilt, and constant fear slowly turn into arguments. For the first time, they stop agreeing with each other. The emotional distance between them becomes impossible to ignore, and eventually Vincent walks away, leaving Sophie alone. Feeling rejected and vulnerable, Sophie meets a man who shows interest in her. At first, she is surprised, but she quickly opens up to him. He offers to drop her home, and for a moment, it feels like she might finally escape the darkness of her life. But everything changes when Sophie discovers something horrifying. The man is a vegan. This instantly triggers her hidden obsession, and she begins thinking of him as her next victim. She tricks him into coming inside by pretending to kiss him, then bites his lip aggressively, making him bleed. Using the excuse of first aid, she convinces him to enter the house. At the same time, Sophie contacts Vincent and tells him she has found their next target. Vincent knows what that means. Another killing. But when the moment comes, Vincent cannot do it again. His hands shake. His conscience finally refuses to let him continue. He refuses to kill the man. Sophie tries to push him further, even threatening him that if he does not kill the man, she will sleep with him instead. But even that does not move Vincent anymore. Something inside him has broken. Meanwhile, Sophie actually goes through with her plan and takes the man upstairs. Vincent stands outside, listening, torn between disgust and helplessness. But then something inside him shifts. He grabs his knife and prepares to act again, driven by rage. Just as he is about to attack, he remembers something strange. Stress ruins the taste of meat. He believes the victim must stay calm. Inside, Sophie tries to relax the man, even giving him a massage. Vincent walks in and sees something that pushes him over the edge. The man is standing there naked in front of Sophie's wife, and Vincent loses control completely. In a violent burst of rage, Vincent attacks and kills the man brutally. The situation spirals into chaos. Chloe returns home and hears the noise. Vincent quickly cleans himself up, and Sophie hides the body behind the sofa. They soon discover that Chloe had a fight with her boyfriend Lucas, who accused her of secretly eating meat. Lucas believes all butcher families are naturally dishonest because of their bloodline. Chloe decides to stay home for the night, but Vincent needs to dispose of the body immediately. He forces Chloe out and tells her to apologize to Lucas. After she leaves, Vincent and Sophie carefully destroy all evidence and process the body into meat once again. The next day, they learn that Mark's shop has been completely destroyed and the authorities are investigating the attacks. Vincent and Sophie act innocent, pretending they know nothing. A police officer visits Vincent privately, but instead of questioning him about the missing activist, he actually comes to ask about the special Iranian pork. He even reveals he is working on a special spice recipe and needs the best quality meat. Relieved, Vincent realizes the police have no idea what is really happening. Their secret remains safe for now. With no consequences catching up to them, Vincent and Sophie continue their killings. The butcher shop becomes more successful than ever, and demand keeps increasing. But their meat supply runs out again, forcing them back into hunting. They lure a man named Vinny into a remote forest under the pretense of attacking butcher shops. However, the situation goes wrong when Vinny panics and suffers a fatal heart attack while running away. Now fully trapped in their cycle, Vincent and Sophie continue living a double life. Successful business owners on the outside, but growing monsters on the inside. The success of their butcher shop continues to grow, but so does the darkness inside Vincent and Sophie. What started as fear-driven survival has now turned into routine. Killing, processing, and selling have become a disturbing normal part of their lives. Their moral boundaries have completely faded. At the same time, their friendship with Mark and Stephanie becomes more complicated. Vincent meets Mark again, and this time he is no longer intimidated. Instead, he looks Mark directly in the eyes while talking, showing a new confidence shaped by everything he has done. Mark tastes the meat again and instantly becomes addicted to it as well. But during the meal, something shocking happens. A small object gets stuck in Mark's teeth. Stephanie, who previously worked as a nurse, carefully examines it and realizes it is a pacemaker. The discovery sends shockwaves through the group. Vincent suddenly remembers the man named Vinny, who died while running away. They had forgotten to remove the pacemaker from his body. Stephanie immediately grows suspicious and starts questioning them. The situation escalates quickly, and the argument turns violent. In a moment of rage, Vincent brutally bites off Mark's ear, completely destroying their friendship. Whatever fake connection they had is now gone forever. Meanwhile, Vincent's mental state continues to deteriorate. He attends a vegan festival, where his cravings become uncontrollable. He even looks at a child and briefly imagines harming him, but manages to stop himself at the last moment. Horrified by his own thoughts, he leaves the festival. Outside, he unexpectedly meets Lucas again. Lucas is shocked to see Vincent there and questions his presence. Vincent tries to act normal, claiming they're just open-minded butchers who only run the shop for survival, not enjoyment. But the conversation takes a dangerous turn when Lucas starts discussing the recent vegan murders happening in the city. Lucas believes butchers might be responsible for the killings. The tension rises immediately, and Vincent defends himself aggressively, denying any connection. But someone nearby overhears the conversation. It is one of the activists who had previously helped attack Mark's shop. He becomes suspicious and angry after realizing Vincent had been pretending to be vegan earlier. That same night, while Vincent is grinding meat in his shop, there is a knock on the door. It is the police. Vincent panics and refuses to open the door, trying to distract them. But in the chaos, his dog appears carrying a human hand in its mouth. Vincent quickly removes the dog and narrowly avoids being caught. The investigation is getting closer, and the pressure is building from all sides. Later, Lucas returns again, this time apologizing for his behavior at the festival. He says he was under stress because his vegan friends had gone missing. He praises Vincent and Sophie, saying they seem like honest people who work hard to run their business without harming anyone intentionally. Sophie immediately sees an opportunity and suggests making Lucas their next target. But Vincent refuses. For the first time, he does not want to continue this life. He lets Lucas go. The next day, Vincent announces to customers that they will no longer sell Iranian pork. The shop empties instantly, and customers leave in anger. Soon after, the consequences begin to catch up. The vegan activists, now disguised as violent criminals, arrive at the butcher shop. They brutally attack Sophie, believing she is responsible for everything happening in the city. Sophie is beaten and left helpless inside the shop. At the same time, Vincent returns and sees the chaos unfolding. Without hesitation, he rushes in to save her. For the first time in a long time, they are forced to fight on the same side again. Vincent attacks the intruders with full force, killing two of them in a violent confrontation. The situation becomes deadly when one attacker manages to trap Vincent on a meat hook, leaving him completely vulnerable. It seems like everything is over, but Sophie, despite everything, refuses to let him die. In a final burst of strength, she grabs a sharp hook and drives it into the attacker's eye, killing him instantly. They survive the attack, but the damage to their lives is already irreversible. Soon after, the truth finally comes out. Mark and Stephanie report them to the police after noticing Vincent's strange behavior and suspicious meat supply. Investigators connect the dots, and evidence from earlier incidents begins to surface. Their empire starts collapsing in real time. A reporter later asks Mark when he first suspected something was wrong. Mark reveals that he found a pacemaker inside the meat he once ate. That moment made everything suspicious, and further investigation confirmed his fears. They informed the authorities immediately. It is revealed that Vincent and Sophie are responsible for multiple murders over the past 3 months. The total count reaches around 30 victims. They are arrested and sentenced to death for their crimes. In court, when asked if they regret what they have done, both of them respond the same way. They say yes, but not for the reasons anyone expects. Their only regret is not removing the pacemaker from Vinny's body, which could have helped them avoid being caught. And with that chilling confession, their story comes to an end. Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell icon so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. See you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye, take care.